Arsenal Football Club is not sleeping this summer, not for a single day. While the champagne from the Premier League title celebration is barely dry, while the dust from the Champions League final in Budapest is still settling, the club is already moving, already plotting, already building. And what happened in Budapest matters deeply to everything that is about to unfold this summer. Arsenal reached the biggest stage in European football. They fought with everything they had. Kai Havertz scored a stunning early goal. The defensive structure held for large parts of the game. And yet, when it mattered most, in a penalty shootout, Gabriel Magalhães stepped up and missed. The Champions League trophy went to Paris Saint-Germain. That moment, that single painful moment, is now the engine driving everything Arsenal are doing in this transfer window. The club knows what they are, they know what they are not yet. And the decisions being made right now are a direct response to what happened on that night in Hungary. So today, we are going to go through every major story surrounding Arsenal right now. Every transfer rumour, every confirmed decision, every player statement, every tactical debate. We are going to break it all down story by story with the clarity and precision this club and these fans deserve. Let us get into it. Before we dive into the transfers and the tactics, let us be clear about what is actually at stake for Arsenal this summer. This club just won the Premier League title for the first time in 22 years. That is not a small thing. That is a generational moment. But winning the league and then losing a Champions League final in a penalty shootout sends a very specific message to the squad, to the manager, and to every player on that pitch. The message is this: you are close, but close is not enough. Arteta knows it, Berta knows it, and every serious analyst watching Arsenal knows that the gap between where they are and where they need to be is not in the defence. The defence is already elite. The gap is in attack, in individual quality, in that one player who can change a game alone, who can manufacture a goal from nothing, who can carry the weight of a Champions League final on their shoulders. That is the context for every single transfer story we are about to discuss. If you want this level of analysis on everything Arsenal this summer, hit that subscribe button right now. Jessica, Arsenal analyst, breaks down every story with the depth and precision that real Gunners fans deserve. Do not miss a single video. Now let us go story by story. Gabriel Magalhães and the penalty that broke and rebuilt him. Let us start with the most human story in this entire news cycle. Gabriel Magalhães, one of the most important defenders in the Premier League, missed the decisive penalty in the Champions League final against Paris Saint-Germain. He has now spoken about it publicly, and his words are worth reading carefully as an analyst, because they tell us something important about the culture at this football club. Gabriel said, and I'm going to speak these words slowly because they matter. He said he felt terrible. He felt like he had let his teammates down. For a moment, he felt worthless. Now, think about what it takes to admit that publicly. This is a man who has been one of the best centre-backs in world football, a man worth £75 million on the current market, a man who started his Arsenal career at £22 million from Lille and has grown into a titan of this defence. And he is telling the world that in that moment, after that miss, he felt worthless. But here is where the story changes direction. Gabriel said that what happened afterwards surprised him completely. The support from Arsenal fans, from teammates, from staff was beyond anything he could have imagined. Fans bought his shirt. They flooded social media with messages of encouragement. They created videos and pictures to show their love for him. He ended his statement with these words. He said, "Mistakes are part of football, and one moment does not define a person or a season." He thanked the Arsenal family. As an analyst, this tells me something critical. This is not a club in crisis. This is not a dressing room that falls apart under pressure. The response from the fan base and the people inside that building speaks to a culture that is genuinely strong. And strong cultures win trophies eventually. The question is whether Arsenal can add the individual quality to match that culture. Piero Hincapié and the emotional farewell that raises a big question. Moving on. Piero Hincapie, the Ecuadorian defender who joined Arsenal on loan from Bayer Leverkusen, has released a statement. And it reads like a farewell, it reads like a goodbye. But it is carefully worded enough to leave everything open. He said since arriving at Arsenal, he has experienced everything he dreamed of as a footballer. He spoke about making lifelong friends. He spoke about feeling genuine love from everyone at the club. He specifically mentioned having the privilege of playing on the biggest stages in world football, including a Champions League final. He said winning the Premier League was a dream come true. He said the love he received from Arsenal fans is something he will never forget. And then he said these exact words. Arsenal is no longer just a club to me. It is my home. He said if it were up to him, he would stay forever. Now, as an analyst, that statement is deeply significant. A player on loan does not speak like that unless there are real feelings involved, real attachment, real desire to make a move permanent. The situation right now is that Hincapie is officially on loan from Leverkusen. There is no confirmed permanent deal. But the language of that statement strongly suggests that conversations are either happening or need to happen very quickly. Arsenal would need to negotiate a permanent transfer with Leverkusen, and the fee is not yet publicly confirmed. What is clear is that Hincapie himself wants to stay. Whether Arsenal and Leverkusen can agree on a fee remains to be seen. The recruitment structure, Berta and Arteta working together. Now let us talk about how Arsenal are actually making these transfer decisions, because the structure matters enormously. The situation is very clear. Arsenal's summer recruitment will be driven by a close collaboration between Andrea Berta, the sporting director, and Mikel Arteta, the manager. Arteta is expected to have a major say on the club's footballing direction and the type of players required. Berta's responsibility is identifying and securing those targets within Arsenal's financial framework. Key transfer decisions will be made collectively, with Josh Kroenke and other senior figures also involved as part of the club's wider leadership structure. This is important to understand. Arsenal are not operating in a chaotic transfer market. They have a clear structure. They have clear lines of communication. Berta identifies. Arteta approves. Kroenke oversees the finances. Every major signing goes through that chain. Additionally, and this is a detail that deserves attention, Arsenal are preparing to appoint a new academy manager this summer following the departure of Per Mertesacker. The academy has been one of the most productive in English football in recent years, producing players like Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri. Finding the right person to continue that work is a critical appointment. The winger hunt, 5 names and what each one means. Now we get to the most complex and most exciting part of Arsenal's summer, the search for a winger. And the list of names being discussed is remarkable in both its quality and its ambition. Let us go through each name on the current shortlist and be very clear about what is confirmed, what is a rumour, and what is still developing. Name 1, Bradley Barcola. This is the name with the most credible and specific reporting behind it. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that movements are expected around Bradley Barcola this summer. Arsenal are one of the clubs keen on the Paris Saint-Germain winger. Liverpool are also interested. There is at least one more unnamed club in the race. Romano also clarified that Barcola's agent is Moussa Sissoko, correcting what he described as fake reports circulating around the player's representation. Now, this is a significant name for Arsenal fans to pay attention to. Barcola is an elite-level winger already performing at the highest level in Europe. He plays for Paris Saint-Germain, the club that just beat Arsenal in the Champions League final. There is something poetic and something very serious about that. However, this is still in the category of credible rumour. No bid has been confirmed. No negotiations have been confirmed. What is confirmed is that Fabrizio Romano, one of the most reliable reporters in world football, is saying to watch this space. Name 2, Morgan Rogers. Romano has also confirmed that Arsenal have had direct contact with the agents of Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers. This is a step beyond a rumour. Direct contact with agents means there is genuine interest being acted upon. However, Romano was also very clear that Arsenal are not alone in this race. Several clubs are interested in Rogers. And he made a very important point. He said Arsenal need to decide who their priority target is among the many wingers they are considering this summer. That last point is critical as an analyst. Arsenal cannot chase every name on this list with equal intensity. At some point, and probably very soon, Arteta and Berta will have to commit to a number 1 target and pursue that target with everything they have. The winger market, as Romano himself described it, is very aggressive and very active right now. Rogers is described as Premier League proven and versatile. He recently signed a new contract at Aston Villa, which means any deal would require a significant transfer fee. But his profile, his age, and his adaptability make him an interesting option for what Arteta is building. Eli Junior Kroupi. This is the name that comes with the most frustrating complication for Arsenal fans. Kroupi has just finished his debut season in the Premier League at Bournemouth as the competition's top-scoring teenager. He reached double figures for goals in his first season in England. He is French, he is young, and he has already proven he can handle the physical demands of the Premier League. Arsenal are monitoring him closely. The belief internally is that he could develop into a strong backup option for Victor Gyökeres from next season. But here is the problem. And it is a significant one. Kroupi would prefer a move to Paris Saint-Germain if they make a serious approach. He has already made them a priority in his decision-making process. He believes he can thrive at Paris Saint-Germain and is attracted by the opportunity to compete for major trophies, including the Champions League. Now, as an analyst, I must be fair here. It is noted that Arsenal can also offer a strong platform for silverware and development, and the situation could still evolve. But right now, if Paris Saint-Germain make a real move for Kroupi, Arsenal would likely lose that race. This is still in the rumour category. No bids, no official approach confirmed. But the player's preference is an important piece of information. Name 4, Mika Godts. Arsenal are reportedly considering a move for Mika Godts, the 20-year-old Belgian winger from Ajax. The attraction here is clear. Godts offers explosive pace, excellent 1-versus-1 ability, a direct attacking style, and huge development potential. He is described as a high-upside development project. This means Arsenal would be betting on potential rather than proven top-level performance. Godts is on Arsenal's winger shortlist, but this is firmly in the rumour category. No confirmed bid, no confirmed negotiations. He is a name being discussed as part of a broader shortlist. Name 5. Rafael Leão. This is the most eye-catching name on the list, and also the one that needs to be treated most carefully in terms of what is confirmed and what is not. Rafael Leão of AC Milan reportedly wants to leave Serie A this summer and move to the Premier League. It is reported that the Portuguese winger only wants a move to Manchester United or Arsenal, and is not interested in any other clubs at this time. Milan are expected to be willing to sell for around 55 million euros. Now, as an analyst, I want to be very measured here. This story comes from a social media source and has less specific reporting behind it compared to the Barcola and Rodgers stories. It should be treated as a rumour at this stage. An interesting and significant rumour, but a rumour nonetheless. What I can say is this. If Leão is genuinely available for 55 million euros and genuinely wants to come to Arsenal, that would represent extraordinary value for a player of his quality and profile. Jeremy Monga, the 16-year-old future investment, and then there is Jeremy Monga, 16 years old, currently at Leicester City, who are now in the 3rd division of English football. Arsenal are reportedly pursuing a deal for the teenager, and it could cost more than 15 million euros. Leicester are expected to demand around 15 million euros, which would be a record sale for an English 3rd division club. Monga is currently on scholarship and will sign full-time terms when he turns 17 on the 10th of July. This is clearly a long-term investment. This is not a player Arsenal are signing to solve a problem next season. This is a player they believe could develop into something special over the coming years. And 15 million euros for a 16-year-old from a 3rd division club is a statement of how highly he is rated. This story comes from a credible source and should be taken seriously, but the deal is not confirmed. It is still in negotiation. Gary Lineker, Arteta, and the Champions League final debate. Let us now step back from the transfers for a moment and address something that every Arsenal fan has been discussing since the final whistle in Budapest. Was Arteta right to set Arsenal up so defensively against Paris Saint-Germain? Arsenal finished the final with just 25% possession. The lowest by any side in a Champions League final on record. They managed only 7 shots with just 1 on target. After Kai Havertz scored his stunning early finish, the entire game plan was built around defending that lead and hoping it would hold. It almost worked. It did not. Gary Lineker has now offered his assessment, and he is firmly in Arteta's corner. Speaking publicly, Lineker said he believed the defensive approach was the right choice against Paris Saint-Germain. His reasoning was direct and honest. He said that if Arsenal had gone toe-to-toe with Paris Saint-Germain, he did not think they had the players to compete. He said that comparing the two front threes man for man, Paris Saint-Germain's attacking quality was simply on a different level. But Lineker did not stop there. He added something very important for the future. He said that now Arsenal have finally won the Premier League title, he hopes Arteta will feel liberated to play more adventurous football going forward. He acknowledged, however, that more adventurous football also requires better players, and that is precisely the point. Paul Merson has since argued that signing an electric centre-forward with pace is the key to Arsenal becoming genuine Champions League contenders next season. That aligns with what we know about Arsenal's interest in Kroupi and the broader search for attacking quality this summer. Harry Redknapp and the Noni Madueke question. Finally, let us address the England World Cup squad debate that has been swirling around one particular Arsenal player. Harry Redknapp has publicly questioned whether Noni Madueke deserves his place in Thomas Tuchel's 26-man England squad for the World Cup in North America. Redknapp's argument is straightforward. He said that back in his day, you had to be playing regularly to get into the England team. He pointed out that Madueke could not get regular game time at Arsenal during the season. The numbers support a degree of scepticism. Madueke managed just 2 Premier League goals and 1 assist across the entire season. With Bukayo Saka as the undisputed first choice on the right flank, Madueke often found himself on the fringes. However, the other side of the argument is also supported by the evidence. In Europe, Madueke provided 4-goal involvements in 9 appearances during Arsenal's run to the Champions League final. He came off the bench in the final itself. Tuchel has cited his ability to make an impact from the bench as a key reason for including him, a role Madueke has genuinely developed under Arteta. He was lined up as Arsenal's 6th penalty taker in the shootout before Gabriel's crucial miss ended the game before he could step up. That detail has also drawn some criticism. But the World Cup represents a massive opportunity for Madueke to answer his critics on the biggest stage of all. Wayne Rooney has also expressed similar reservations to Redknapp, suggesting he would have taken Cole Palmer ahead of Madueke, so the debate is not going away. But the selection has been made, and now it is up to the player to respond. Bringing it all together. What this summer means for Arsenal. Let us zoom out and look at the full picture, because individually these stories are interesting, but together they paint a very clear image of where Arsenal are and where they are going. Arsenal just won the Premier League for the first time in 22 years. Their squad is valued at over £1 billion total, but was assembled for a fraction of that. The profit on paper from their transfer business over the past several years is extraordinary. Players like Saliba, Gabriel, Odegaard and Timber were signed for a combined figure that looks almost embarrassing when you compare it to their current market values. The academy continues to produce players of genuine quality. Lewis Skelly and Nwaneri are the most recent examples. And the structure around recruitment, Berta identifying, Arteta approving, Kroenke overseeing, is functioning smoothly. But Budapest showed the gap. Not in organisation, not in mentality. Not in culture. The gap is in individual attacking quality. Paris Saint-Germain had players who could manufacture moments of brilliance from nothing. Arsenal, for all their defensive structure and tactical discipline, could not match that when it mattered most. The response this summer is focused on filling that gap. A winger with elite pace and unpredictability, a midfielder with long-term potential, a young striker who can develop into a genuine number 9 alongside Victor Gyökeres. These are the areas Arsenal are targeting. The stories we covered today, Barcola, Rodgers, Kroupi, Godts, Leão, Buadi, Monga, all of them connect back to that single night in Budapest. Arsenal know what they need. They are moving to get it. The summer of 2026 could define the next chapter of this club's history. And on this channel, Jessica Arsenal Analyst, we will be covering every move, every twist, and every update as it happens. If you found this analysis valuable, please subscribe. Leave a comment below telling me which signing you think Arsenal should prioritise this summer. And share this video with every gunner you know who wants the real picture, not just the headlines. Thank you for watching. The work continues.